While you were going about your day.
Flying disc.
God bless all of you.
And we're back.
106
DUM FM. DUM the VI.
You sounded like a koala bear, Tiger.
I wish I was a unicorn.
But
You can't get everything you want in life.
Except pecan.
That's everything you want in life. So we're back for another
DUM
106. In this show, we have music from across the globe and then majoritively focused in Brighton.
Indeed, and also poking different areas of the world, including pigs in rivers, train spotting, and it may not be what you expect.
There's also beavers acting conspicuously like beavers, and then celebrities getting hacked. Not in an exciting way, just in a computer way.
And touching upon the Pope as well.
After all those years that you were the Pope, I mean, how was...
I feel quite sore looking at a new Pope, but I can see past it with all the happy cheering in Roma at the moment, in the Vatican. I remember being on that balcony, it was quite high.
It's amazing that Jesus is actually Italian as well. But we've got a song now by Brighton local and kind of slash London, Soccer 96, with a song called Aquarius. The first thing that struck me about Soccer 96 was not their music, because the first thing that struck me was their name, Soccer 96. It sounds like a game I might have played when I was a kid and had a really, really good time playing it, and the tunes are awesome as well.
DUM for yo.
A new pope has been elected this week.
He has indeed, yeah.
Was actually an Argentinian pope.
No.
Yeah, it was an Argentinian pope.
Honestly.
Yeah, it was.
I just presumed that he was Italian.
What, the new pope?
Yeah.
The last pope was German.
Where have I been?
You remember he's
I'm
like...
such a bad Catholic.
Are you a Catholic?
My family are Italian, aren't they? Well, half of the family are Italian. Quite focused on the whole Catholicism aspect of their heritage and being in Europe. And yeah, I mean, I don't go to church necessarily and I don't pray every day. But I definitely appreciate the whole part of my family. And
I guess that makes sense though, why you were the Pope yourself for a long while. I mean, what was it that really kind of not put you off about being the Pope? What was the best thing about being the Pope?
I like the attention, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I really like the attention, and I like wearing a garment that let me feel the breeze. You know, what I didn't like was the worry. The only thing I was going to achieve in my life was to be a Pope. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that are into their music, writing, photography, and I just thought, who the fuck am I? Like, I'm just a Pope. Like, I know some people would tell me I'm stupid, but...
Well, I mean, you could say you were stupid, but when I was interning as a bishop, we used to really look up to you, and we used to think you were really majestic. You used to get to wear the golden helmet, you sit on the golden throne, you had a golden toilet. I mean, we just had normal toilets. We had just normal kind of fabric helmet things. We go around saying a few prayers to people, make people feel good, but you actually, caused a few miracles to happen while you were a Pope.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing though. Like, all I want to do is tell my friends about what I've done with my day, like they do me, and I just can't do that. I'm bound to secrecy. I'm in the Vatican City where secrets, and miracles happen. I don't know. I just want to be that guy that can go down the pub with his friends and just talk about, my hopes and dreams.
You prefer to be the guy that painted the Sistine Chapel. I've heard you say, Michelangelo, I kind of envy you because I'm but a Pope and you're an amazing artist.
Yeah, in some aspect, but Michelangelo went blind. Maybe he was...
Do you think he went blind because he drew a picture of God in the Vatican, and that's like probably the biggest blasphemy a Catholic could cause?
No, I just think it's because the lead paint went in his eyes during the 16 years that he painted it.
Oh, really? So he really went for it then?
Yeah.
And also about the Pope getting elected, they said it was one of the shortest conclaves in recent years.
What's a conclave?
A conclave is where all the kind of bishops and ministers and all the high-end Catholic bad men get together and decide who's the next Pope.
Okay.
And the way they actually pick the Pope is they get a hat and put loads of different games inside of it.
Right.
This time around it was musical chairs, and they said even though it was one of the shortest conclaves in history, it was one of the longest games of musical chairs they've ever played.
Who knew?
So there's about 110 bishops playing musical chairs. One of the bishops said the music felt like it would never end. I mean, where they get all the chairs from? What music were they playing?
What they wear?
Oh, okay, so they get the organ player up there to put the music on, and they're like, okay, now stop. Someone tell that organ player to shut the fuck up. Oh, everyone sat down now. Oh, Bishop Friar, sorry, you've got to leave. I'm sorry. And then the final bishop is the one that gets to elect who is the next Pope. Anyway, we've got a song by a guy that Elliott chose. The song's called Jive Babe, and the artist is called Michael Paskalev.
Yeah, and it's a little bit yuppie. I don't know if that's a term that you want to use, and it's a little bit cage Mikey. It's quite nice, quite indie, it's quite rock and roll.
I feel like I'm gonna drop real soon. My mind's hurting, I'm over the moon. Pulses sagging out, I'm losing the pace. It's the way you feel, man, not the way you taste. Rebel, I see you with your gun. Now, if you're gonna shoot, then I'm glad I'm the one. 'Cause it's the way you it's on the tip of my tongue. It's the way you chase and then the way I run. Bang, 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 bang. She points a finger at me, pulls the trigger out. I'll give in. There's no need to pretend. My mama sees her with her eyes looking at me like she never done wrong. Like she never done wrong. Bang, 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 bang. She points a finger at me, pulls the trigger, I plead. Now the argumental thing. Run, baby, as fast as you can, 'cause you're not the man. But if you still don't understand, I love the way she moves in place. I wanna dance it on my grave. Ooh, yeah. Rebel in a cold 45. Let's live the life, let's go out and jive. Let's leave town on the run. Go to California. Burn in the sun. Oh, you gotta drive, babe. Come on and try, babe. Drive it back and forth, you look so good, I wouldn't lie. I need to hold you. Come on and hold me. Oh, I wouldn't mind if you were running on me. Keep it cool, babe. To go for a scoop, babe. Drive it and try it. You don't have to make your body hurt my eyes, babe. Give me a ride, babe. Ever since the way you put the hurt, I mean the sting of living, babe. You shot me dead, babe. I love the way you play. I want you dancing on the river. I feel like I'm gonna drop real soon. Mind's up and I'm more than good. Just a second, I'm gonna lose my place. It's the way you feel, now the way you taste. I feel like I'm gonna drop real soon. Look past the trouble, now look past the gun. Johnny, try another boy, be on the rebel. With your head on the gun, watch out, kid, see if you the one. Ever since the way you put the hurt, I've been astray. Watch out, kid, it seems you the one. Oh, yeah.
And here we are again, back from another tune. We're excited about the Pope, but now we have something else to talk about.
And with the recent horse meat scandal taking the UK by storm, the superpower, which is China, have done one over, in fact, and led 6,000 pigs into a river.
6,000 pigs in a river. No one knows how they got there, but all of a sudden, one day, down the river, going to Beijing, 6,000 pigs appeared in the river. They had to be pulled out by dudes with pitchforks and stuff.
Bjork must be gutted that there's another hit track. 6,000 pigs down a river.
Why? Do you reckon she would have taken that as her own if we hadn't?
But she already did 10,000 bicycles in Beijing.
Was that Bjork?
Yeah.
That was another artist that is a folk artist, but I can't think who it might have been. It definitely wasn't Bjork, but yeah, there are 10,000 bicycles in Beijing. Yeah, but we all knew that pigs could fly, but we didn't know they could swim. Well, I thought pigs could, but obviously, maybe they weren't alive before they went in the river.
I mean, I know pigs don't have very long legs, which is, common knowledge.
Pigs are actually one of the smartest animals as well, and the way they tested this out, so they had this kind of joystick and a screen, and around the edge of the screen there was like a blue area, and they had a white dot, and when they moved the joystick into the white dot into the blue area, it releases a treat, right? So they did it to the dog first, and the dog just nudged the thing and then got a treat, did it, and it gets progressively harder, so the blue area is in one corner, and the dog's just nudging the thing and where's my treat? The pig is just ding, blue area treat, ding, blue area. It's like, I know this game, I'm going straight for that blue area, I'm getting my treat, and if I don't get my treat,
I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad at you. I'm gonna be mad.
It's quite surprising though. I mean, pigs, any pig can strike up a conversation when it needs to. But, in terms of, the ability to try new things, and they're fearless, really, aren't they?
Yeah, they're fearless. They are fearless. They'll swim, even if they can't.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's read George Orwell's Animal Farm. That depicts pigs having the brains all together, doesn't it? I mean, if you're not familiar with it, they convince all the animals they need to take over the farm, and then the next thing they know, the animals are outside and the pigs are chowing down at a dinner table with clothes on.
And then, the pigs take over, they're the evil ones, but what about the humans that owned everything before? They're worse than the pigs, surely.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's slightly missing the point, but...
Who made the clothes?
Exactly.
Who made the clothes? I see them pigs strutting about in suits. Who made the clothes?
They've actually just opened a pig tailor in London, if you're not aware. You can find it on Oxford Street. And I've got to admit, I just couldn't believe how much it compares to, going down a high street shop. And I think it's quite pretentious, really, how much they're willing to spend on a pig trouser set.
It's crazy. I was going to say, we've got another song now by Shelley Screwface, and she might have changed the name to Scruffface or Scruffy Face, but it's called Aloft. And in other news, beavers acting suspiciously like beavers in Canada.
I don't know. Just tell me how to be. That's all. I come here, I just want somebody to tell me how to be. Some people have their act together, When's that part of my life gonna start? When I have it together.
You're like a dream I can touch and talk to. I really feel the distrust I cause you. You wanna cut me loose, but I just adore you. You can tell by the way I always call you. I will commit, but not if I'm forced to. Your love's a trapdoor I ought to fall through, cause you're falling for me despite my dork moves. You're my life, but I quite like the horse too. You stay wishing like two short tunes. I'm catching these men in two short moves. They get dropped like hot coal when you walk through my North Pole. I'll explore a love for you while you're balling. I'm doing stuff I shouldn't do. Road running or coming over other dudes. It's an ugly lie and I love's the truth. Put the kettle on for when I'll be coming through. Mwah.
You can always tell how long somebody's been in a relationship by how much they can move their mouth when they talk. You know how at first you're like all happy and free and it's so fun to be around you, and you're funny and you're so sweet and
Now you're not here, his touch does me fine. He ignores the numb of the drugs in my eyes. I'm lost in space as I clutch at my thighs. He comes hard and then slumps to the side. I was love, but just a run in your life. I'd live to feed off of your sumptuous lies. You're the death of me, and as I come to the light, I'm a cunt with a knife and I puncture the shine. I'm dying whilst realigning my vagina. Ignore my texts of love, I'm a liar. Fuck love, get money, I am the pariah. I just wanna hug you, but I fight and go on diet. My eyes have never been drier. I'm wired, I'm tired, I'm alive to die. I feel but it all just feels like it's a little too much. I give it all up for you, you simple cute fuck.
Not that I'm not giving up, though. I just have to give it I think maybe that's a pattern too, is like, leaving people, abandoning situations and not giving it enough time.
Doing a bit of research on the DUM, which is like a radar but for dumb, we found out it was actually Katie Melua that sung the song 10,000 Bicycles in Beijing, not Bjork.
We are making a formal apology to all the listeners of DUM and withdraw our previous statement that Bjork was supporting the 6,000 strong pig float going down from China to Beijing.
The 6,000 strong pig flotilla going down the river. Dead pig. So now we're going to chat about, because this music's really jovial, about celebrities getting hacked. And so as we said earlier, it's not the exciting kind of celebrities getting hacked like Scream or anything really fun and exciting like that. It is actually just computers and boring geek hack celebrities. No one's safe.
Yeah, and exactly. I mean, to fill you in about the situation, a website which will not disclose their name has put numerous celebrities' details, including their social security number. I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Credit card details, debt details, a lot of personal information on this site for the public to access.
And I didn't go on the website, but I found out some really interesting things through a friend who was looking at it while he was explaining to me what he saw. And it turns out that Beyonce Knowles is really, really rich. So, I mean, we learn something new every day, and Jay-Z is really rich as well. So.
And Britney Spears is, in fact, in loads of debt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which we all knew.
Yeah, I was wondering why her hair went missing, but it turns out she sold it just to cover the costs. And Adam Sandler, it turns out that he's not actually funny, which is strange because I laughed a lot.
And Rupert the Bear apparently has debt in Littlewood. Who knew where he got his jumpers from?
Well, it makes kind of sense. Bear in the woods. Kind of reminds me of the Pope in the woods as well, but we probably best not go into that. We've milked the Pope.
Popey Pope.
We milked the Pope of all his wood antics. Well, you remember when I used to be a computer hacker?
Yes.
Yeah, so when the Matrix first came out, I really fancied myself as a computer hacker, so I got my PS1 out and I was playing loads of hacking games, and I was convinced it was real, and at one point I actually got sucked into the computer to save my girlfriend at the time, and then I was just fighting all of these giant robots, and then in the end I had to fight the boss robot, and it was really scary. I beat it, and then I was just thrown straight out of the computer, and then all of a sudden I'm just sitting there in my underwear and my mum walks in and I'm like, Mum,
Go away! This is embarrassing!
I have to admit that after I watched The Matrix, I never really wanted to be a hacker. I was always quite curious about that helicopter that was outside of the building with Trinity sitting in it. And, I thought his role, however minimal, it was so significant. I mean, it always felt it was about running on walls and falling backwards with a gun, not falling on your... And, it just knew where to float. It knew where to catch characters jumping from the building, and it was just so significant.
I think that helicopter is probably one of the greatest actors in movie history, but no one really ever knew. It was just so subtle.
Exactly. No one talks about him.
It was like it was all about, cameras spinning around you while bullets were flying really slowly through the air, as if people had a lot of time to move out of the way, but then that helicopter was always there.
Innit? Fuck the Matrix. I want the helicopter.
Yeah, I want to get a little quote from Robbie Williams where he says, "Take both pills and fuck the Matrix." I couldn't stand by that more, Robbie Williams.
Robbie Williams.
You're like a poet, you're like Neo of our times, ever since, Neo was killed by Jesus in the Battle of Nazareth.
What band are you with? Speed Galactic. Speed Galactic, and to me that was kind of like shoegazy, surf electronic chill step. Yeah, that sounds good. You can find us on speedgalactic.com or find us on Facebook.
Discomfort, the canister
We're back again. That was a fantastic tune from a Brighton local. We're going to be chatting about a possible sequel to Trainspotting.
And I am quite worried that it's going to be a massive failure. That's my gut instinct.
I mean, it's not that it's going to be a massive failure, but either what's going to happen is they're still on drugs and it's going to be more of the same kind of being on drugs and heroin and going around Scotland and things like that, or it's going to be them settled down and having families and like talking about all the crazy stuff they got up to. I don't know, what do you think?
Well, you know, besides the plot and where they are in life, I think what is more concerning is not capturing the mid-90s quality, which was Trainspotting.
Yeah.
And that being a fundamental part of maybe how we as 23-year-olds view Trainspotting. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I view it as something my mum used to scare me away from heroin.
Yeah, and also my parents, while they were also giving me heroin, would tell me to watch that movie as a way of expanding my mind. Obviously, that's probably not conventional.
I mean, that baby scene where it's climbing on the ceiling, that was always quite enticing for me, and I always tried to recreate it in my room, but it's really hard to get a baby to do that. So, like, fair play for the mid-90s. Like, a lot of respect there in terms of computer-generated graphics and special effects.
Yeah, I mean, even that specific scene, which is clever camera work, you can also see that in the original Omen, where she falls from the banister to the floor. In fact, when they filmed it, it's her walking back to a wall, but obviously, you know, the perspective is of her falling. It's quite cool.
It's amazing. It's just a little bit like Exorcist, where she does the crab walk down the stairs and you're like, that's absolutely impossible, but she actually did it backwards up the stairs and then they reversed it afterwards. Is how they actually did that. One thing that actually, you know, that kind of really disappointed me about Trainspotting, and I know it sounds like really obvious, where are the trains? I mean, I really got into that movie for the wrong reasons initially. I'm a bit of a train enthusiast myself. Thomas the Tank Engine, also the Midnight Express, the Flying Scotchman. I love all kinds of trains, but watching that movie and then all of a sudden, no trains being involved, junkie apocalypse.
And then someone told me the whole Trainspotting thing was more about the symbolic nature of staring into space as maybe a train spotter would, because of maybe being on drugs. I just thought, what a load of fucking bollocks, where are the trains?
Yeah, I mean, is it to do with the train tracks down their arms, or?
I think it could possibly be an element of both.
I do have another song now. I introduced it on the last show. It's Lighthouse by Eyes.
You can actually visit my blog if you would like to at byromug.tumblr.com. I'm actually working with them at the moment to do a feature in Pretty Litter, which you'll be seeing around Brighton in about 3 weeks. You can also see a little bit more work of my projects updated on my blog. Recently I interviewed Saint Savannah, who are a local band here that are slowly but surely becoming quite significant in their own little way. And you can find them, as I've said, you can find them on my blog or on the FD2D website as well on the homepage.
My love is deep as the ocean. Follow as I enter the sea. I'm standing on the edge of the water. I can see a light in my dreams. It glows but I can't reach it. I've always been blind anyway. Darling, can you teach me? Because you always know what to say. I've been trying lately. There's nothing more. What else can I do? What else can I do? Have you no feeling? There's nothing more. What else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do?
That was a fantastic tune by Eyes, and now we're going to go into a bit of deep thinking. First of all, this is a question. Why do we never have a green sunset? What do you think?
Well, I always associate that question with why a tomato is never green, but they are, but only for a little bit. Elaborate.
Well, from what I've heard researching this on the internet, the sunsets are mostly red, but can actually be green for a little bit as well. So just like tomatoes, which are basically a child of the sun, it captures the sun and creates these
sun-kissed, if you will.
Sun-kissed, definitely, or sun-dried, as they can be. I think that, sunsets, green, red, they're all sunsets at the end of the day. They're just the sun passing over to the other side of the world to give its warmth. Whether it's green, whether it's red, what's colour got to do with it? Why are we being so colourist?
What's colour got to do with it? Obviously, that's a very, very valid point, but I have to delve into courgettes being purple and the fact that they're called capsicums in Australia.
But I mean, courgettes, are they just baby cucumbers, or have I got it all wrong?
I think they're part of the same family, but I think if you were to meet a cucumber and you were to meet a courgette, the courgette would definitely be able to kick your ass because 90% of a cucumber is made of water.
But 95% of a person is made out of water.
I'm sure it's more 60%.
Is it? Well, I mean, I'm no expert. I mean, I should consult myself on that one, but I really couldn't tell you.
I mean, I know that part of that water comes from having a shower in the morning. Some of it comes from drinking water. And then there's that bit of undiagnosed water that we just have.
That's just inside of us.
I think that's right, from what I can remember at school.
Yeah, I mean, how often do we replace the water inside of our bodies? Is it we go to the toilet, that's a bit of water, we do a bit of a sweat? Or is it we keep the good water and just get rid of the bad water?
Yeah, I mean, I know some celebrities drink their own urine as a method of rehydration and cleansing, but obviously that's quite skeptical because your body is actually displacing the water out your...
Yes.
I went there, it didn't feel good.
No. I heard actually when they did the post-mortem on Michael Jackson, they found a bottle of Avion that had the date 1960 on it, so I don't know where they found that from, but maybe that's kind of like retaining water.
Crazy. And I know Coca-Cola used to contain parts of the drug cocaine or amphetamine to give him that buzz that he had on stage.
When you think about it, at the end of the day, whether a sunset is green, whether it's red, whether it's blue, whether it is made 95% out of water, you just got to accept it. You've got to take in the beauty and just fall asleep on that daydream roller coaster that they call Sunset Boulevard.
And good words they were, Mitchell. I mean, next time we are faced with a sunset, I'm going to remind myself that the sky is always a little bit green before it goes down to the other side of the world.
Just like a tomato is the same shape as the world, and so the sphere of life does continue.
Until it gets in a sandwich, eaten by what is possibly the reason we're here.
Sandwiches have been a very big part of my life. Maybe more than the tomato itself.
Sandwiches!
But the sandwiches bring together all that is good in life, including sunsets. If you hold it at an angle facing towards a sunset, you can imagine the sun actually setting behind a sandwich.
There's a train that comes from Mozambique, Angola, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Botswana.
So for our final section, we really want to take it on a serious side, and we're going to explore, how do slugs defend themselves? So slugs are a creature that's a little bit like a snail, a homeless snail, if you will. They have no homes. The difference between slugs and snails, in my own opinion, is when I'm walking down a wet path and I step on a slug, I kind of go, ugh. But when I walk down a wet path and kind of like stand on a snail, I feel really sad inside. It kind of hurts me a lot, and I always get a little spade and dig it a little grave, and that's what I do with snails. And I know that snails are quite good at defending themselves when the person isn't made 95% out of water. Anyway, so how do slugs defend themselves? You used to be a slug expert.
When me and my brother were younger and we were struggling for activities, we used to go outside into the garden with the table salt that we had in the cupboard. And I know that them little critters might be good at camouflage. They blend into their surroundings. They can contract if they want to. They can harden. But goddamn no, they do shrivel up when there's a little bit of salt around.
Yeah, I guess that's why you never see slugs in the sea. Even though there is such a thing as a sea slug, it's not the same kind of slug as you may find in your garden or underneath a flower pot, which is one of the slug's natural habitats. Slugs are amazing creatures because people think that they just squirm around on the floor and make little kind of cum stains everywhere. And make little kind of stains that your friends may question if they get on your clothes. But slugs actually have a million little feet.
I know there's an epidemic at the moment with the amount of slugs that are entering higher education, and I think there's always going to be some rivalry between, obviously, well-kept snailers with, high-rise apartments, and obviously the struggle with, slugophobia. I know it is quite homoerotic, and some people are going to be afraid of their slimy texture.
Yeah. Well, people in France, they're really up for eating snails, which are the more accommodated creature.
Escargot.
And then they wouldn't eat slugs, and I think there's a little bit of kind of prejudice against slugs, especially slugs going into higher education. Now people are like, this was unheard of, before it happened, and now there's slug professors, there's slugs working in some of the highest regions of government at the moment, coming up with plans to plot against the average garden snail, as well as the more food-based snail, escargot. And it's coming to the end of the show now, and I had a really good time. I mean, the slugs had a good time, the Pope had a good time,
the pigs definitely had a good time.
The pigs had a good time, the beavers had a good time, and the celebrities also, they didn't have as much of a good time, but we had a good time.
Britney Spears was, we've actually just got a message over on our Facebook from her, letting us know that she was really happy that she got a mention, which is quite sweet, isn't it?
That's alright, yeah, and she also sent us a picture of just the back of her head, but it looks like a thumb, so I can't really tell if that's there or not. Oh, the ears are a dead giveaway.
Yeah, I'd like to say to you guys listening, if you are listening, that we were going to put it on her Facebook, but she's actually just sent us a disclosure from her manager, and it's actually just a thumbprint, but I don't know where we stand, so we probably won't put it up. Yeah.
Back up train. Turn around. Back up train. 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 Back up train.
You got me.
Back up train. Back up train.